One of the things that you're going to notice if you get into collecting MVS cartridges or purchasing them for use over on location is there are a lot of bootleg MVS cartridges. Even while they were actively, SNK was actively producing cartridges, there were bootlegs. Unfortunately, there isn't a very easy, clear-cut way to identify bootleg cartridges until you open them up. The cartridges themselves came in many different colors, so you can't really tell. And one of the things that you might realize is that all of the bootleg MVSs actually probably started their life as a different, maybe less popular game that the bootleggers changed over into with a different set of ROMs. There are some possible tells. This one is, if you notice, the label. It's all wrong. This is the wrong typeface, the wrong spacing. They couldn't even get the MVS logo right. This is a case of go home and try again. They couldn't even get that right. But that's not to say it isn't a legitimate set of boards on the inside. So we're going to crack it open and take a look. I have tested this. It does play. It's actually a really fun game. Even though I'm not really into soccer, pretty easy to pick up. It's pretty fun. But opening these up, there are only 4 screws across the top. Very simple to open up. You will see, flip it open, wah, wah. This is a pretty clear sign that this is a bootleg cartridge. There are multiple EEPROMs. Like I said before, what they usually do is they take a cart that did start its life as a different, less popular game, and then they put in different program ROMs. And if I gently take this out, this is the program board. It will have the SNK screen printing on it. And beneath that is the character board. This is where all the sprites are. Again, tons of EEPROMs. They didn't manufacture many games with EEPROMs. They did manufacture a few, and I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, if you see tons of EEPROMs on a board, chances are not legitimate. When looking at the chips on the character board and the program board, you're going to want to pay close attention to what's referred to as the NGH number. These were assigned by SNK when the cartridges were released. They will be silk screened on each of the chips. Here we have on the character board. They should all match, and there is a Neo-Geo master list on what the NGH numbers are for each of the games, and they should line up. This one here is the Samurai Showdown 2. The NGH number, it begins with a 063. I cross-referenced that with the Neo-Geo master list and found out that yes, it is the 063 is the chips that are supposed to be on this board. They should match on the character board and on the program board. Some bootlegs do use some of the original chips, but when they do, they might use some EEPROMs. This one happens to be legitimate. Best to check against what you see for a board scan on mvsscans.com. Here is an example of, thanks for playing, try better next time. This board, I don't even have to open it up to see whether or not that this is authentic. It's see-through. So I can see right on the inside a pair of EEPROMs. I said before that EEPROMs on a board is a good indication that the cartridge is a bootleg, but that's not always the case. There were manufactured boards that did come with EEPROMs on them. One such example is Puzzle Bobble. I have here a legitimate Puzzle Bobble cartridge, and I took the boards out, and here is the program board. And as you can see clearly, an EEPROM right here, and also a white mark. This actually, you can go to a website, it's mvs-scans.com. They have a fabulous library of MVS boards that you can compare what you have. If you open up your MVS cartridge, you can compare the front and the back to what they have on the website for what are considered to be legitimate boards. And if you have anything that doesn't match, chances are that it is a bootleg. But this does actually check out. The Puzzle Bobble, for instance, there were, I believe, 3 different revisions of the boards. This one does match what's on MVS Scan, so I'm very confident that this is a legitimate MVS board, even though here we have the character board does have an EEPROM on it. So, like I said, not every time you see an EEPROM does that mean that it is a bootleg. The best thing to do is to go to mvs-scans.com, compare your boards with the images. They also have some board numbers, the chip numbers, which I will show in just a moment. You can compare those as well. But then you can see whether or not you have a legitimate board. Another clue that you might have a bootleg board is daughter boards. These little breakout boards, as you can see here, very rarely do legitimate boards actually have breakout boards. What they did here is somebody really went to town on this. They went all out, and this is to circumvent the security measures on the MVS. Yeah, this is bootleg, no doubt about it. Supposedly metal slug 4? I don't think so. Now, let's take a look at a special cart I picked up a few years back at the Midwest Gaming Classic. I want to take a moment to share with you this particular MVS cartridge. This here is Ironclad. This is not something that you see every day, and it is a bootleg, and it's not a bootleg. And I'll explain. Ironclad came out on the Neo-Geo CD system, which was the home console system that came after the AES, or a little bit later in its lifetime. Ironclad was released for the Neo-Geo CD only. However, some very clever individuals took the game and actually put it into an MVS cart. So this here is the Ironclad game in a cartridge. Changed the media format. So you don't see this on any of the 161 multi-cart MVS cartridges or anything like that. The only way you see that is, of course, on the Neo-Geo CD, or if you can get your hands on one of these official, unofficial, bootleg CDs. MVS carts. Sorry.